Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So before we get into this episode, I just kind of wanted to address a couple of things that you might notice when watching this episode where we take a trip down to Glass Butte. There might be some continuity issues in the video, so if you stay to the end, we'll address it and we can kind of chat about why the trip ended up the way it ended up. That right there, that's Little Glass Butte. So we are in South Central Oregon, and we're going for Obsidian tomorrow. It's not really rockhounding. Obsidian's not a rock, but we drove 8.5 hours today. It's evening. We will be hitting some different pits tomorrow. So here's my theory. I think for somebody that's a rockhound, I think even just picking through discards could be really amazing here. If you're into napping and you want big, perfect pieces for making a knife, let's say, you're probably gonna have to dig a hole. There's 7 pits up here, 7 different types of obsidian. I'm not gonna be super picky. I'd be happy if I walked away with 6 baseball-sized pieces from each pit, which should be able to get relatively quickly. Where we're camped at here, this is the Napper's campsite. Look at this. So, somebody here, people have been napping, and you can just see this is all obsidian. Right? How cool is that? It is everywhere. There's a lot of the mahogany. There's black, of course. There's some of the midnight lace, which is like what that piece I just held up, I believe, where, yeah, like all this mahogany bits here. This is super common. People don't necessarily want this stuff. And there's a lot here that you can tell was like broken by a person. Here's a good piece. Let's look at this real quick. Look at that. How cool is that? I hope that's coming out on the camera. Very transparent, kind of a gray smoky color. Super cool. But yeah, that's just, it's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. I mean, if you saw this anywhere but here, you would be impressed. But the whole entire road, everything is absolutely jam-packed with tumbler-sized material. Good morning, everybody. So, we're out here at the first collecting site. You can see, what, little Glass Butte poking its head up over there. This spot, one map says it's gold sheen obsidian. The other one says purple sheen. Who knows? But when I come here and I look at people's tailing piles, well, it kind of all looks black. I mean, I know that some of this stuff has very distinct colors. I guess it kind of has a little, it's not going to show up on camera, but like kind of the edge of it, like the flake is a little, let's find a little piece here if we can, has a little transparency to it. It's not entirely black, so I assume that knocking a flake off of some of this stuff would, you can kind of see, Sarah? Hey, look. So it's kind of like a silverish hue almost. Yeah. But like, I'm starting to already think that maybe when they say a sheen, you're not actually going to tell what that color is until it's like super thin. You know, I mean, imagine napping an arrowhead and, oh, here, look, here we go. I guess that has like a golden sheen to that, but it's almost like a coffee brown if you hold it up. Yeah. I mean, it's a good thing there's a ton of other pits. Hopefully when we get to some of the ones that are like mahogany and red, and rainbow, it'll look a lot cooler, but we'll probably take a half a 2-gallon bucket from this site and just probably pick up. I don't feel like mining here where there's so many big chunks just laying about. So it took about 3 minutes to pick up a gallon's worth of this material, and it's on to the next spot. I will say, if you have a car, this may not be the spot for you. Even with the Subaru, we have been straddling some of the ruts out here. You can kind of see in the road. Definitely, if you care about the paint job on your vehicle, this is not the spot for you. And granted, you can always stay back at the main kind of camping area and walk the roads. If you just had a car, RV, you could make it in there. But out here, these roads are not well maintained as of June 2020. Look at what we have here. Some of the stuff is kind of cool. So this is not actually on any of the maps as a location. I just saw that this was a place that people had been digging. That's kind of one of the things I'm learning out here. It's like it almost kind of doesn't matter to follow a map. You can just kind of drive some of the roads and well, it's very obvious when there's a hole that's 5.5 feet deep out here, but you can see all of the obsidian that people are getting out of the wall. Some of it's pretty good. I don't know what you'd call that. Everybody's really specific.
See that piece of it?
Oh, hey.
It's huge.
Look at that. There's a giant piece under that overhang. How crazy are people? Why in the hell would you, like, shimmy in there for that? No amount of obsidian's worth getting flattened. I'll probably pick up some of this stuff. It's kind of cool. You know, I like that red mahogany color. So, probably not going to do much digging, just picking before we head to the other pits. I'm thoroughly confused as to what pits are what when you have conflicting information, and it varies. All of it is different based on what you see on the ground. You know, maybe somebody that spends more time out here than I do will be able to answer down below in the comments. And if so, I will pin that to the top of the comments if that ever happens. Anyway. Short order, half filled this little bucket, and we're gonna make our way to another pit. So I know this video is gonna seem like it's a little all over the place, but we're at the spot that has Aurora Borealis. You can kind of see maybe in that there's some hazy lines. This piece it has like a sheen, like a little golden spot right there. Probably gonna do some more digging out here and probably break out the geopick and give it a go. Yeah, that definitely has some gray in it. Sure is pretty out here. You can see Little Glass Butte there better than you could before. Big Glass Butte is that way. Big Glass Butte has more full obsidian flows going down it, but it's all just black. It's nothing of real interest. Yeah, you can kind of see some lines in that. I think we'll pick a pit, and I'm gonna break out the geopick and do some excavating. So I've been breaking out some of this stuff out of this pit here, and it's kind of glassy like obsidian, but not obsidian. It's like this gray. Some of it has almost like little nodules on it. That was kind of interesting. I'm going to take a couple of them, maybe cut them in the saw. Maybe they could be something interesting. But for the most part, well, I'm not having the best of luck chipping some of this stuff out. Also, the Little Natchez video, I misplaced my 3-pound cracker, so now I got the 4-pound engineer's hammer. And yeah, just kind of breaking some stuff out here. I'm not, maybe I'm misguided, but I'm not super impressed with anything yet. I think the whole sheen thing is both difficult to find and kind of in the eye of the beholder, you know? I mean, I've found some and broken some really thin little flakes, and you hold it up and there's like the slightest color. I don't know if that's really worth it, like, at all for me and what I want, which is just cool looking obsidian chunks. So who knows how long I'll be here. I really want to get to some of the pits that have dark red and like tiger striping and some of that stuff. So who knows. I know this is kind of a little all over the place of a video, but you know, I think it's realistic for the first time coming out to a place like this. You can really just take a random road out here and look and see and find pits like this and look through tailings and dig yourself, crack stuff, things of that nature. Sure is pretty out here. It's nice and quiet. This is the leopard print spot, and I just broke this piece that was in the road. Very cool. Very pretty stuff. Whoop. It's not a video unless I drop what I'm trying to show you, is it? Hopefully we can find more up here. I like that stuff. That stuff you can really see a pattern in it, whereas a lot of the stuff that's just a sheen, you can't really see much. Yeah, some of the leopard print's kind of cool. Be nice to find the source or some bigger chunks. Oh, you can kind of see the view from up here pretty well if you turn around. Got there. I would not want to be out here in August. It's hot enough as it is the beginning of June. Wait, end of June. Maybe that's going to show up. It's kind of fiery almost. It's not really that leopard print. Try this other side. I'm sure people are like that nap or watching me do this with a rock hammer and cringing, but there we go. That's kind of cool. Just split that. You should come here and look at this. That's probably the most impressive piece we've came across. I have the other half of this as well. Look at that.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one. So big.
So as we start to head up the hill here, we're starting to get into some bigger pieces, nicer pieces, and the bucket's filling up quite quickly. So cool. Look at that. I'm gonna head back up there for more. So this is the haul from Little Glass Butte. Got a lot of really beautiful pieces. Got with this speckles in there. Some of these are just absolutely amazing. And we'll take these into the shop here I'll probably show you these. Here, let's look at these wet real quick. The water really makes it pop, you know. That's an awesome piece. But let's pick out some of the better ones and go into the shop and look at them a little more up close, and we'll take some photos and all that good stuff. So I think this is an accurate representation of the material that we got. Clearly I can't show you all 60 pounds of obsidian that we brought back, but you can kind of see some of the color and texture in these, and it's beautiful stuff. You know, the majority of what we got has this, I don't know, there's different names for it, but this kind of like mahogany texture to it, and it's beautiful stuff, some of which has kind of this gray banding going through it. This one also kind of has that. There was some stuff out there that had what I think is calcite on the outside, and then you could smash it and see the black obsidian. Beautiful stuff. And I think what we'll do here is I'm going to go out and just take some quality photos of this stuff in the sun, and we can look at them as I chat about some of the issues that we had going out to Little Glass Butte. So when we went out to Little Glass Butte, I had this book, and it has a listing in here, and I'll show you some of the issues, right? Okay, so you're not going to be able to see this map as good as the others, but there's that. Hey, it stays open. So I had that. Have this map. I had this map. I had this map. So I had maps. I had 4 different maps, plus what was on Google Satellite, plus what was on Gaia GPS. Now, you'll notice, even if we just discard a couple of them, that these are 2 different maps showing very different things of the exact same area. So there's that. So one of these pits might say that it's red and brown on this, and over here it says it's purple. Who knows? I have no clue. And then when we were out there trying to go from spot to spot to spot, some of the roads were inaccessible for us with our vehicle. I'm a very competent driver. You know, I used to have a Jeep and be into the Jeep thing. I can drive off-road, right? And I also know the limit of my vehicle, which is a Subaru Outback currently. And yeah, there's just some places up there where it would have been foolish to try to drive into. So that brings up the next issue, which is it's a little disappointing, some of the material that comes from there, because it'll say it's purple. Well, you go up there, you dig, you shovel, you surface pick, there's not even like the slightest purplish flake up there. So what is that? Are they wrong? Am I missing something? Is it something that has to be napped in a specific way to catch the light? Is it just super rare? What is it? That said, you know, that produced some of the issues with filming the trip and making kind of that overarching storyline. Some of the best material we got actually came out of a road that we found out there. So that's crazy. And beautiful material, beautiful. Black, they got the stuff with the gray swirls going through it. Some of it's translucent, even when kind of thick. Some of the stuff with red appears to be fiery flames all the way to long streaks, almost kind of like a petrified wood appearance, to eyes in it, like you have on a leopard, I guess. It's a great trip. Definitely go out there. You can find lots and lots of obsidian, but just know, you know, what is midnight lace? What is spider web? What is some of this stuff actually look like in real life? And are these actually accurate maps? I will also throw in that the Gem Trails of Oregon book, which is in the house and not out here, also is kind of different. So you have all these different things saying contradictory stuff, and that's sometimes just the way this goes, especially with material that is highly prized by people, that you can sell, has a value to it. People don't want to share things. So anyways, I hope you thought this was an interesting video nonetheless. Please drop a comment down below. I read and respond to all of them. It's great to interact with y'all. And yeah, hit the subscribe button and hit the like if you enjoy this type of content. And as always, thanks.